Everyone. Let's just wait for a few folks that are coming in to join us. I hope you are having a fantastic Monday so far. Hello, Michael. Are you having a great Monday so far?
I am having a fantastic Monday so far, Julie. I
Uh,
personally love Mondays. I remember there's a song that says, "Tell me why I don't like Mondays," but I love Mondays. Mondays is great. Like you're coming off having a break. As far as get to relax, get to unwind, and then you just come back in the work week just stronger, feeling more energized. Right?
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like you packed with a lot of energy every Monday
Mhm.
because you rested, you had nothing to worry about, you had your time with your family and all that stuff. So Monday is a great day. Monday is also my favorite day because I get to do this show.
Mhm.
And this is really fun. Um, Hello everyone. Thank you so much for being here. Let me ask you for a huge favor. If you haven't subscribed to this program, please do. I have intentions of bringing a lot more coming out. I really truly enjoy what I'm doing here with Michael William Aim, and there's a lot more coming. As you know, we are living in the Onpassive world right now that it's so abundantly coming. That's the reason why there's a topic that we wanted to talk today on passive abundance, right? And for all of us who know on passive, who understand on passive up until this point, many of us who have had the experience of witnessing the things that are developing in on passive, things that are happening in on passive, we know how abundantly it will be. Well, when I talk about abundance, I talk about knowledge, I talk about unlimited tools and services. I'm talking about a lot more. I'm For me, I'm not focusing on the financial part because I understand the financial part's already taken care of. Like, we have the ability to do that within non-passive. So my point today is truly focusing on um, mostly talking about the mindset of every single one of us, being in on passive, feeling the abundance of life that is coming our way, feeling the abundant of ability to do what we want to do, be the best version of ourselves. And I believe many of us who have already started, myself, I have started already. So that's kind of what we want to talking about is abundance, abundant of life, abundant of knowledge, and all of that coming within that word. So Michael, I'm excited to talk about this. I know you haven't had a chance to say hello. Would you please say hello to everyone?
Hello, everyone out there. Once again, it's a great opportunity to be here to speak on topics that's relevant to On Passive, a company and business that is dear to our hearts. So let's rock and roll, Julie. Abundance. Oh yes, that's one of my favorite words. So yeah, let's go.
Yeah, let's do it. So everyone, um, if you have already been in on passive and kind of pay attention to what is going on, or even if you haven't, our website is www.onpassive.com. You actually can go in to visit our website now. For many of us who know that there is on passive blog, that to me has abundantly of knowledge in that blog. When you go in the blog, you're reading the blog of On Passive, you know that there are so many information, not just in technology itself, but it talked about other part of life, things that are involved in our life that is technology, that is driven by AI. So you might want to take a look at that one. Michael, when we talking about on passive abundance, we have to go into knowledge, the knowledge that many of us get to receive in the past years that we've been in Unpassive. To me, I have learned so much. I didn't have much knowledge of AI or technology or how things being developed, but I get to witness and listen to some of those that is shared by our tech team, Mr. Mufareh. I think knowledge is a huge part of the abundance of Unpassive. I like you to Talk a little bit about it because I do know that you experience the same thing.
Yeah, absolutely, Julie. So, again, when we talk about abundance, we're talking about a lot, right? We're talking about, having, more and more and more, right? And so, knowledge is very, very important, and that goes for anything really. One should thirst for knowledge, and so when you engaged in a business, you should thirst to get as much information as you possibly can about what you're engaged in, right? And so in On Passive over the years, we've been privileged, to have gained a lot of insight, a lot of knowledge, a lot of understanding, with regards to building a business, with regards to artificial intelligence, understanding, internet marketing, digital products, like so much information. And you're absolutely right, Julie, that when people go to our blog, there's an abundance of information there. So there's no lack of information when it comes to, on passive. There's so much. Our corporate YouTube channel, a wealth of information is there that people can just watch these videos and get a sense, of the power of on passive. So that's what we're talking about, being able to have access to a lot, right? That's abundance. And we certainly have it here, but you have to gain the knowledge, though. You have to want it. You have to want to put yourself in a position where you'll spend some time to get to know on passive. Because if you truly care about yourself and your family, if you truly care about yourself and your family, you're going to immerse yourself into understanding what on passive is all about. And there's a wealth of information that's available, right, for free. It's not that you have to pay for the information. Even if you come into our ecosystem, you can get all the information on the inside for free, right? And then you can decide what you want to do with that information once you have it. So we certainly have an abundance of information, Julie, where on passive is concerned, and it's there for everyone who wants it. Right? It's as simple as that.
Absolutely. Absolutely, Michael. And many of us going through life, we tend to wrap up in our little bubble where we call it the comfort zone, right? And either being in our comfort zone or in our mind, sometimes we live in a way of scarcity instead of abundantly. I'm talking here, it's about our mindset, right? There is abundance of information out there for all of us. And what I'm going toward is we got to really set in our mind somehow, somewhat, there are more informations. Now, being in unpassive, if we didn't have the show in Burj Khalifa, yes, I do heard of I've heard about Dubai before, but if we didn't have a show in the Burj Khalifa back in 2020, 20, I would not have known Burj Khalifa exists. Because of Unpassive, I was able to do that. Now, what I'm trying to say is that we tend to just having enough of information, just enough of us to be comfortable. However, there are so much information out there. There's so much knowledge out there that we can tap in. And because of On Passive, we get to see, not only from the Burj Khalifa, the Eye of Dubai, we've talked about the African and Egypt, the current event that was not the current event, but the past couple weeks that we were in, and things that are happening, and also the Burj Khalifa show that was over the weekend. There's so much information that we can actually see and tap on and connecting, the knowledge to actually understand on passive. Michael, it's amazing how on passive has been reaching out and have been touched so many lives around the world so far. Over 5 years for us.
Yes, for sure. But if we take a look at just knowledge itself, Julie, what we call knowledge, right? When we if we put it into a circle, right? Let's say a pie graph, right? In that circle, the smallest piece of the circle is what we actually know, right? Like this is how big knowledge is. What we actually know, meaning you, what you know, what I know, what what the next person, what you as an individual know, because we all have our own circle of knowledge, right? What you actually know is a very, very tiny piece. If you use the, let's say, the face of a clock, what we actually know is probably from the 12 to the 1, right? Like that is just a small piece of what we call knowledge, right? And then a bigger piece would be what we actually know that we don't know, right? So if somebody was to, ask you about the theory of relativity, right? There'll be a lot of people who, yeah, I've heard that before, but I really don't know what it is. You know what I mean? And I couldn't explain it to someone. So that's something that you know that you don't know, right?
Yeah.
Um, so that's a bigger piece than the actual knowledge that we have. So our knowledge that we actually know, so you know that you know this, right? That's from 12 to say 1, right? And then from 1 to about 3 or 4 is what you actually know that you don't know. And then that bigger piece, right? More than half of knowledge is what you actually don't know that you don't know. And
Mhm.
somebody says, well, how does that make sense? Okay, if you've never heard of Onpassive before, like ever, you've never heard of Onpassive until somebody says to you now, Onpassive, right? That was something that you didn't know that you didn't, because you didn't know it existed, right? If you don't know something exists, it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. So not because you don't know it doesn't exist. You understand? If someone has never heard of California, usually you know California exists. You live in California, so you know it's real. It exists. But if someone has never heard of that, take somebody from, I don't know, somewhere in the South Pacific. Maybe they've never heard of it. Someone lives in, I don't know, Solomon Islands or something, right? And they may have never heard of California, right? They've may never heard of, let me think of a name in Canada. Um, you know, uh, the Yukon territories. Like, I mean? Like, you may never have heard of that. So if you don't know, you understand me? You've never heard of it. You actually don't know it exists. And if you don't know it exists, it's something that you don't know that you don't know. That's the vast amount of knowledge. It sounds complicated, folks, but it's very, very simple. The smallest piece of knowledge is what you actually know. A little bigger than that is what you know that you don't know, right? If someone said to you, okay, I'm going to give you a calculus test, you've never studied calculus before. So how are you going to do it? You know what I mean? So we have to understand that knowledge is huge. It's massive. It's, there is abundance when it comes to knowledge. And in Onpassive, we have learned so much more. Our knowledge cycle or circle has expanded from the things that we know we know. That has expanded now from the 1 to the 2 to the 3, depending on how engaged you've been, right? It
Mhm.
has expanded. Your knowledge has expanded since you've been involved in Onpassive, right? You never knew about artificial intelligence before, right? You didn't understand how, a product can be infused with that. You didn't understand how you can automate a sales process. You didn't understand how is it possible to make money without actually selling. These are things that you didn't understand before. You get into Onpassive now. Now you're starting to learn about some of this. So your knowledge base has expanded. You're now a wiser person, a smarter person. You have gained more knowledge, right? That's what Onpassive has done for a lot of people, Julie. So that big piece that people don't know that they don't, that has shrunk. That has gotten smaller because now you're exposed to more things.
That's
That's what Onpassive is doing for people. So there's a lot that is going on in here that we don't even think about. We take it for granted because it's not something that okay, I didn't, we don't pause and think. Life is so chaotic that we're always going. So we don't pause. But if you were to stop right now and just take a few minutes and start to think, since you've been involved Onpassive, what are some of the things that you've been exposed to? What are some of the things that you've learned that you now acquired this knowledge on? By going to our blog, you'll be exposed to some things that you've never knew existed before. You understand? That's what we're talking about, Julie.
Uh, I love that you bring up the pie chart. Let's take a look at the circle right next to me. how many of those sections, right? How many of those sections that we can actually color it in and say, okay, I know this part, I can check this off, for example, we have our update section in our old founders. Every founders can go in there and read all the updates and all of that. Have you I mean, here's the thing, have you actually go in there and actually read and understand it? If you do, then you could color one of those sections, right? And then now, for everyone who's get access to our ecosystem, right, there's so much information in that ecosystem that we actually can familiarize with it. There's abundance of those informations in there. Now if we have done that and we know where everything is, when people said, yeah, you know it, like, in the back of your hand. That's what
Mhm.
it is. And when that's happened, you actually can go in there and color one of those sections, right? And have you actually checked out our YouTube channel, all the videos update? You know what? When talking about Onpassive, Michael, how many time in a day that you receive a notification of the information that Onpassive is putting out there in the social media?
Mhm.
Like, so many time, right? And it's not something that Onpassive is doing just for a month or 2 year or two. It's a process, it's a continuous process of information that putting out there. So if we could color one of those section every single day and say, oh yeah, I know that video, oh yeah, I know that section, that means that we are tapping in and plugging into the information. And boy, that's called knowledge, right? A lot of the products, for example, O Connect is out to the world. Some of us have already purchased it. Do we actually know the power of what O Connect is doing? Right? And the only way to do it is play with it, experiencing it, and read the information that is provided. Michael, I love the chart. And you know what? We all should do, right? Print out the Eye of Dubai in a graphic way and say, okay, I know this much because I did that. I go into O Founders, I read the updates, I go into ecosystem, I see, I experience, I know where everything is. That's called getting to know Onpassive, getting to know the ecosystem of Onpassive.
And that boosts your confidence, Julie, right? When you have knowledge about a subject matter, about a topic, right? It boosts your confidence. Can you imagine you're going to do a speech and you have no idea, excuse me, you have no idea what you're going to talk about, right? So someone says, okay, I'm going to use theory of relativity again. Come on and give us a speech about the theory of relativity. And you have no clue what that's about. Can you imagine how you'd be when you get there, try to make that presentation, as opposed to if this is something that you've studied? You understand me? You've spent the time, you've done the research, you got all the information, and now you come. How much more confident you are? Okay, taking a test, Julie. Okay, you're sitting down to write a real estate exam. Okay, but because you put the time and effort in, you studied, right? So you know it like the back of your hand. So when you go in, you're so confident about it, right? I always say to my kids, I'm okay, you just had your midterm. How was it? And they'll be like, I don't know. I said, what do you mean you don't know? Right? I said, you should have an idea. I said, I understand that you did not receive your mark as yet, but you should have an idea. How did you feel? Like, did you feel that, yeah, I knew that answer, knew that, or was it like, oh man, I'm not even sure about that one. Let me just guess, or let me just try to figure it out, or what I mean? How did you feel? Right. And so, so when I explain it to them like that, now they can give me a better answer. Okay, a more appropriate answer to say, okay, oh yeah, I nailed it. You know what I mean? Or, whoa, it wasn't that great. Whatever. They're able to give a better answer. Why? Because when you know that you've spent time preparing, right? Preparation, Julie, planning, when you spend time doing all of that, your confidence level boosts right up. And so for those who are engaged in Onpassive, for those who are taking the time, as you mentioned, to go into their OES, to go on their updates, to go into old founders, all of that, those who are paying attention to webinars and coming, even just us here, just having a candid conversation, Julian, people paying attention to that as well. The knowledge that they get from this, That boosts their confidence in on passive, right? That reassures them that yes, we have something that is real. We have something that is solid. When you start to use the products yourself, that boosts your confidence. No one can come and tell you that, oh, they have no products. You've used O Connect, you know what I mean? You've conducted webinars, you've used O Mail and sent email back and forth. All these things that you've done, it boosts your confidence. So knowledge is so important. And we've been getting a first-hand lesson, Julie, okay, about building or raising a giant company in on passive from day one. If we're paying attention, we get to see how it's done. Look at what's been happening with the branding. Like, how many people have ever been a part of something like that, right? Where, this is how the branding is being done in on passive. For most people, and I'm going to say 90 to 95% of people, if not more, right? I've never been in that situation like that, where you have this giant life size, campaigns that are being done. Have you ever been in a company that had all these different type of partnerships, from governments to corporations and so on, social influencers, where you have these massive partnerships, right? So all of that you're getting and you're seeing for free, Julie, for free. You're getting all that information. You're increasing your knowledge about all of this, right? That's what OnPassive is doing. So I believe that OnPassive has helped us with our mindset, right? It's helped us to be more positive in life. It's helped us to be more, worry free, right? Reduces stress level to understand that don't concern yourself with things that you can't control. Don't focus on the wrong things. So all these things is helping people develop the right mindset to have in order to have a success attitude, Julie. That's what people are getting, and they're getting all of this for free.
It's amazing, Michael. It's amazing for us to be here, and I'm gonna take this opportunity to explain it to everyone why I am so excited and why I am suddenly go out there and get my real estate license. Okay, because on passive give me that power to do that. Now, everyone know that my background is in real estate. I haven't practiced involved in the market in the past, like, what, 7 years, right? But because of Unpassive giving me the knowledge, and I know that I have so many friends that are in the real estate industry, right? Because of Understand Unpassive, I know that I can bring Unpassive to help these individuals in the industry to do the best what they're doing. Now, in order for me to refresh my memory about real estate, I've got to go back in. I've got to study. I've got to learn. I've got to take the test. I do that so that I can actually know how Unpassive and real estate, connecting to each other, because everything that on passive is creating, it's interconnecting with everything that is happening in the world. And that's a reason why for me to be able to do that, because I feel that on passive give me that power, give me a chance to actually going back to my old experience and connecting the dots and helping these people. As everyone know that in real estate or in any other field, it takes so much to bring customer or client in front of the door for you. On passive had that tools, that services that be able to, remember that T, be able to deliver that targeted traffic. And in order for this industry to know, you got to actually understand the industry to help them connecting the dot. And I believe for many of us who have been in whatever the industry you are in, you have that knowledge and you'll be able to connect what On Passive is doing and connect that together to help these people with their business or their life as a whole. Right, Michael? I don't know about you guys, but I am super excited and I feel that I have that that ability to help this industry.
Yeah.
Maybe one agent, three agent, a brokerage, down the line. And that's where it start with one.
It makes sense, Julie, right? Perfect sense, right? I've spent years, trying to help people in the realm of internet marketing, email marketing, etc. Right, and just trying to help people see how effective it can be as far as building your business, whatever your business may be, right? And so when I think of the knowledge that you gain, right? Because you have to put yourself out there. You have to put yourself out there to gather the information. You have to put yourself out there to test, even sometimes lose them because you're testing, right? You have to test, 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 and all of that stuff. But I think it's so important that people spend time and gather information on whatever subject matter that they want in their life to be a part of their life. You just have to do that. So whether it's real estate, whether it's stocks, bonds, whatever it is, right? Social media, whatever the case may be, folks. You know what I mean? You could have someone who, I had a uncle, for example, that he was a professor for many years, and he said, you know what, I want a law degree now. So in his old age, he went back to school and got a law degree. Hey, he wanted the knowledge, so he went and he got it, right? So it's important that people understand their passion, understand what it is that they're passionate about, what they really want to do in life. And then now you go gather that information from whatever source you need to get it from to equip yourself with that knowledge so that when you're speaking about it or when you're participating or when you're involved in it, you're so confident about it that no one can come and make you waver in your decision to be involved. When I look at Onpassive and I see some individuals, right? Let's take Chris Johnson as an example, okay? And so when we see someone like you think there's anyone on this planet that can go to him and says, "Hey, man, you made a bad move and get involved on passive. Oh, you're a crazy guy. What are you doing?" You think anyone could actually come and make him say, "You know what? Yeah, maybe you're right." You know what I mean? He's not going to waver in his decision because he knows and he understands what he has in his hands. And there are many other founders just like that. When you're confident about what you have, Julie,
Mhm.
no one can come to you and tell you nonsense. You know what I mean? You just continue to move forward and move ahead because you're confident about what you have. That's what we have in Onpassive. We have abundance of people, Julie, who are of the same mindset that are moving in the same direction that's going to actually help uplift humanity, whether it's with Obless or otherwise, right? That's what we have. We have an army of people, Julie, that is standing up saying, you know what? It is time for a change. We agree that things have to be done differently. We can't keep doing the same old, same old. We can't keep joining the same companies that's doing the same thing over and over again. What's the difference between company A and company B and company C? When they're all doing the same thing. Maybe they have different products or whatever, but it's still the same thing. All they're in it for is for themselves. You know what I mean? How much can I generate for myself? They're not in it because they want to help people. So here comes Onpassive now saying, wait a minute, there is abundance. There's more than enough for everyone. Okay, we don't need to cut you out in order to get ours. No, we can include you. We can include everyone, and all of us can actually win. That's what Onpassive is saying. And so when you're confident about that knowledge, Julie, no one can come to you and make you second guess yourself or make you ponder for a minute or, oh man, who can I talk to? I need somebody to motivate me again because, that person just shattered my dreams, or, you know what I mean? None of that nonsense, right? You're either confident or you're not. It's as simple as that, right? Sometimes even border on, being cocky about what you have, right? Let's take it to athletes. We've seen some athletes that they're so confident in their ability, even when let's take basketball and they're shooting and they miss like 5 shots in a row, they still continue to shoot. They miss 10, they still continue because they're confident in their ability. You know what? Eventually they'll come back again. And they just keep on going and going and going and going. We have so many examples around us in all walks of life. All we have to do is take the time to look around and see what happens when people are confident. Take somebody who's trying to get a date, Julie. You walk up to someone and you try to introduce, Okay, but if you go up there and you're like, oh, hi, my name is, you know what I mean? And there's no confidence in your body language and your speech. Like, no one's gonna, you know what I mean? It's just not gonna happen, right? But if that person has confidence, right? They walk with confidence, they talk with confidence. Okay, people actually will stop and take a look and take a listen to what you have to say, right? It's confident people who make this world go around, right? Unfortunately, there are some that are a little bit too confident with nonsense. Okay, so there's the positive and negative, right? But we're talking about the positive side of things when people are confident about what they have, such as what we have in On Passive, there is no moving us, none at all, Julie.
Mhm. Yep, talking about confident, you got to have abundance of knowledge of different subject, knowledge of things. But everything that is going on right now is in non-passive is abundantly that, that you can't find it anywhere. Let's talk about the technology, the solutions, the digital solutions that On Passive is creating. When you are coming to when we are go out there and we share On Passive with the world, personally, I don't believe that I have the full knowledge of it yet, especially the technology behind it. But I do understand that the On Passive is a solution for a lot of businesses, individuals. You know, let's use an example. I went and talked to a doctor about his business, just kind of visit his business. And I said, how many bills are you paying per month? Right? 20, 30? In order for them to run a medical office, a clinic, there's probably tons of bills that they have to pay, right? Because they have to pay certain program for certain things that run certain things, right? What if you have everything that is in one umbrella? That's on passive. That's why on passive is saying that we are the solution, the digital solutions to everything, government agency, hospital. I mean, we do have it. Is it going to happen the day that it's introducing to the world? No, it's happening progressively, right? It's happened by stage and stage. And Michael, if anyone that want to know on passive, standing outside and look at on passive isn't going to let them know all of what on passive is, even if they are in the inside. But they got to be in the inside in order to see what's around it. They got to experience the ecosystem. They got to experience the product in order for them to understand on passive, and in order for them to actually have that feeling of abundance.
Yeah, absolutely, Julie. Because when it comes to the tech side of things, again, most people are not tech savvy, right? And, most people you're not going to understand the language, right? The tech language. You know what I mean? It's no different, Julie, than if you're talking to a mechanic. Okay, so when two mechanics are talking to each other, right? They can tell you about A, B, C, D, E, F, G that has to do with that car or that engine or whatever, right? They're speaking their language. The same can be said about lawyers. Two lawyers are talking about, a legal matter. They can speak in their own language. They understand each other. Here comes a regular person like me. I know nothing about cars other than to drive it, right? So if the mechanic is talking to me, he has to be able to break it down, Julie, in plain English, you know what I mean, so that I can understand, right? And the same with a lawyer, right? They have to be able to break it down to me in plain English, right? Not that it's in another language, as in a foreign language, but just the terminologies that they're using, right? Give it to me straight so that I can understand. Treat me as if I'm in grade 8. You know what I mean? Just give me that basic broken down information so that I can grasp it, right? That's what On Passive is about. I don't need to understand the technology to be able to explain it from a technological standpoint. But what I do know, Julie, is that it's going to save companies money. It's going to save individuals money, right? So if I know it's going to save you money, then that's easy for me. It's easy for me to share it with you because I'm not trying to give you the tech specs. You know what I mean? All I wanted to help you understand that, yeah, it's going to save you money. Okay. I know it's going to save you time, right? So Any business, pick any business that you can think of, and you just go to them and says, hey, if I can show you a way to save money and save time, would you be interested? Right? Would you give me 2 minutes? Would you watch a video? Like however you want to phrase it. My point is, any company is going to stop and listen because you're telling them, what? You're going to save me money and save me time?
Mhm.
Hey, that sounds pretty good to me, right? And so they'll at least take the opportunity to take a look at what you have. Doesn't mean that they're going to buy what you have, but at least they'll take a look. Because if you can't even get them to take a look, what chance do you have of them buying, right? So you have to be able to at least get that opportunity where someone's going to take a look at what you have to offer. Okay. So Onpassive says, you know what? We know what we have is great. We know what we have is going to help people. And all you have to do is just come in for free and take a look. Come in for free and take a look. You know what? Hey, here's a few products that are free. Yeah, we could charge money for it, but we're not going to. Go ahead and use it for free. Right? Oh, yeah, you know what? Hey, O Connect, that's the best audio video conference and webinar platform out there in the market, period. But you know what? Hey, here's a 14-day trial. Test it out. See if it is what we're saying. You know what I mean? That's what Onpassive is. So they're breaking it down, not necessarily going from the tech standpoint, you know what I mean, to give all the bullets about AI and this and all of that stuff, right? We have tech staff that can do that, but I'm talking about me and you, Julie. We're talking about regular folks, right?
Yeah.
We don't need to engage in that type of conversation. Just present someone with the opportunity where they can come and take a look for themselves and see for themselves so that they can make an informed decision. You understand me? Whether it makes sense or not. That's all we have to do. That is so simple to me, Julie. We're not doing the heavy lifting. We don't have to go create these products. Like,
Mhm.
how do I create O Connect? You know what I mean? I don't know nothing about coding and all these things, right? It's not for me. But guess what, though? I know I can share the daylights out of it. I know I can share it with thousands upon thousands of people. You understand?
Yeah.
Because why? I just have to say, here, go watch this video. No, here's this link. You know what I mean? It's that simple. But if I had to sit down and dissect it and break it down, and I wouldn't be able to do that. No way. I'd have to go back to school, Julie, and go learn and get another degree. You know what I mean? To understand all of that stuff. Not interested in that. I just want to be nice and simple, nice and easy. Yes, we got something that's going to save you time. Yes, we got something that's going to save you money. Right? If that's of interest to you, hey, let's talk. And talk by talking, I mean, here, go talk to the computer screen. Go talk to your device and watch this video. You know what I mean? Go talk to the ecosystem by coming in and take a look. Not by me going on and giving a half an hour presentation. No. Not at all. Nice and simple, Julie.
Absolutely. There's somebody who asked me, um, I don't know much about Onpassive. How am I going to be successful? You said you can be in it. We're all going to be in it. We're going to be successful. The question is, how am I don't know much about Onpassive. And so I said, well, you don't need to know much about it. All you got to do is experiencing it yourself, right? Now, we're going to ask ourselves, how many of us couldn't wait for the new iPhone to come out, right? How much do we spend on this iPhone? Over $1,000. Some of us even carry that bill for 2 years. We couldn't
Mhm.
pay it off, right? We put it in our monthly and we pay that for 2 years. Do we know the licensing of the phone? Do we know how it's built, how that technology's been built? Right? But we couldn't wait till the new one come out and didn't pay off and still carry that bill for 2 years. Now, we're also asking ourselves a question. How many of us who bought a car, whether or not new or used, whatever, do we know how certain things put together, right? But we bought the car and put our entire family on that car and drive around, and we actually want to know certain things, right? I just don't think it really makes sense, Michael. And to me, on passive, creating the entire ecosystem that any one of us can tap in, right? Can use it, can test it, and love it, And if that is a product where you have to purchase, you use it, and you got a license to resell it. What did we say? It's a license to print whatever we want, right? I don't.
It's
It's
a license to print money. I will say
there
it if
you
you don't want
go.
to say it. I will say it. Okay.
Yeah, but so is there things that there are things, and I to me, Michael, do we need to read the blog? Do we need to read? None of that. It's by choice,
Yeah.
right? We do that because we want to know. Knowledge is it's amazing. For me, knowledge and life experience, it's what I am looking for. I'm thriving, I'm yearning to have all of that in life. Knowledge, getting to know a lot of things, having the ability to experiencing it. And that's why I never stop learning,
Mhm.
right? And non-passive gave me that opportunity to do that. And if you haven't seen it, you got to be in it to see it. You got to be inside the ecosystem to actually experiencing it.
Yeah, they say knowledge is power, right? But it's more than that because you can have all the knowledge in the world, but if you don't apply it, right? Like you have to apply it. You have to take action. I love to read, Julie. Ever since I can remember, I would just read books and read books and read books and read books and read books. That hasn't changed. I just love to read. I'd rather go read something than watch a video,
Mhm.
right? Of the same information. I'd rather read it for myself than watch a video. That's just me. That's just how I like to go about doing things. So anytime I share stuff with people, I like sharing stuff with them that they're going to read, right? Because I believe you absorb it better, right? You're utilizing more of your senses when it comes to reading versus watching a video, right? But regardless, right? Regardless, it's about acquiring the knowledge. It's about acquiring that information and then do something with the information, though. Don't just hold on to it. You have to apply it. You have to put it into practice, right? And Onpassive has given us that opportunity to be able to do just that, Julie, right? That we, again, going back to the passion, whatever a person is passionate about, we know that most people in life are not doing or engaged in their passion. You know what I mean? You have somebody, they're an artsy person, let's say, but they're probably an accountant or something, or a nurse or whatever, right? Because they're doing something else, right? Because they need to pay the bills. You know what I mean? But that's not. If money wasn't an issue, that wouldn't be what they would be doing, Julie, right? And I believe that's what Onpassive will allow people to do is to get back to that passion, get back to it is that you really want. So you know what? If no one is paying you any money, what it is that you would do, regardless, right? What it is that you would do. You know what I mean? Because there are some folks that, yeah, the only reason why I'm a lawyer is because, I'm making good money with it. So that's right. Or the only reason I'm an accountant or whatever, right? That's the only reason they're doing it. Not because, they're crazy and passionate about it. Where you have some people that, take like social workers, for example. You'll have some people that they're so passionate about their work. They want to be able to help children or whatever the case may be. You know what I mean? And so they will spend hours. I said this many, many years ago when I used to tutor high school students in math, right? I would spend hours with them, Julie, 3, 4 hours sometimes, and only charge them like $20. You know what I mean? Like I shouldn't even be charging $20 an hour. You know what I mean? But yet I'll spend 3, 4 hours. Why? Because it's something that I actually enjoy doing. I actually enjoy sitting down and going through math and seeing their face light up when they get it, Julie. You know what I mean? That's man, the teacher didn't explain it this way, blah, 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 blah. And then you kind of break it down, make it so nice and simple. Oh, I get it. You know what I mean? And then we move on. That's passion. Onpassive has brought out passion in all of us. When we're spending countless hours, Julie, helping people over and over and over and over again, we're not getting paid to do it. That's passion, right? It is something that you either like doing or you don't like doing. You either like helping people or you don't like help. Not everybody wants to help people. A lot of people want to just help themselves, right? But when you get to that passion, the root, the core, right, of what your passion is, It makes a huge difference in your confidence level, Julie. We're going back to confidence again. It
Mhm.
makes a huge difference in it when you start to sit down and talk about something, a particular subject matter, and it's something that you're really interested in and you really love to talk about. You get excited. That's what happened in Onpassive, right? We
Mhm.
start talking about Onpassive, and next you know, it's like, oh, we've been talking for like 3-4 hours. Man, we didn't even know where did the time go because you're so passionate about it. We see when our CEO comes, he doesn't want to leave.
Mhm.
Why? Because he loves talking about Onpassive.
Mhm.
You understand, Julie? There's very few things in life where people actually love to be engaged, in a conversation about for a long period of time. People may, yeah, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, yeah, no, maybe even an hour. But to talk about something for hours upon hours, again, it's passion. Why? Because we know that Onpassive is going to abundantly bless a lot of people's lives, Julie. Okay? There is abundance that comes with all of this. This is not just to pat somebody on the back and say, hey, good job. Pat somebody on the back and say, hey, you know what? Hey, you're going to have a better life. No, it's about putting that into practice. It's not just saying that Onpassive is the solution, but it's to put it into practice and let them experience it, right? Let people receive the rewards that come with that, Julie, right? And that's when people know that they truly have something, right? That's when they know they truly, it's the excitement. It's like you can't wait for that next webinar. You can't wait to have that next conversation. You can't wait to just pick up the phone and call somebody and start talking about Onpassive. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
That's what Onpassive is doing to people. It is a movement, folks. It's a revolution, right? That's Onpassive.
Absolutely, Michael. And sitting here, I have a solution, not a solution, but an equation for everybody, right? You picked what you are passionate about, right? Plus having a knowledge of it, right? Knowledge is power, right? So if you picked what you're passionate about, having the knowledge, right? Plus the experience. Experience mean action. Take action on whatever your passion is. Equal abundance of life. Simple as that, right? We all can do that. We all have a passion, whether or not raising a pet, for example, or helping somebody, real estate, for example, anything, building a car, right? If you want to build a car, is that your passion to build a classic car, for example, right? Having the knowledge of it and then go and plan it and do it, take the action, have experiencing it. Abundance of life. I put equations on everything. It's like cooking, the art of mixing, right? You got to mix things together to make something happen. So we have Unpassive. Unpassive has a lot of ingredients. We've talked about it from our last discussion. Lots of ingredients where
Ingredients.
we can
Yeah.
actually mix them and mix things however we like to do. It's been a good talk, Michael.
Yeah, for sure. On passive equals total freedom, right? There's your equation, Julie, right? That's what on passive equals, folks. So if you're looking for total freedom, and if you don't know what total freedom is, that's a combination of time freedom and financial freedom. You put the two together, it's total freedom. Okay. A lot of people have time freedom, but they don't have financial freedom. Okay. A lot of people have financial freedom, but they don't have time freedom. Right. So I certainly want total freedom, Julie. You understand? And so that's when you have your own time to do whatever it is that you want to do, and you have the financial resources to do whatever you want to do, because some things, do cost money. Okay. And if you don't have that, then you certainly can't do those things. Right. But when you have the total package, right? When you have the total package, when, you know, uh, you don't have to worry about time, meaning, oh, I have to work 40 hours a week, 50, 60 hours a week. I got to get up, in the mornings, 4 o'clock in the mornings. I got to go, you got to do all these things. And because usually you're doing something that it is that you don't love, right? If you have to go somewhere, like if I'm going on a vacation, Julie, right? and I have to wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning, I don't even go to sleep. You know what I mean? What am I going to sleep for? I just stay awake and it's up. Let's go because I'm excited to go on that vacation, Julie. You know what I mean? But if I was to get up at 4 in the morning because I have to go to work, oh, I would be sleeping. I'd probably go to bed like 9 o'clock or something. Make sure I get enough sleep and then get up. Right? That's the difference. When you're excited about something, you can't wait for it to happen.
Yeah.
Right? You can't wait. When we have these Mondays talk, Julie, I'm looking forward to it. So I'm excited. It's like, oh man, yes, 3 o'clock. Okay, gotta go. Right? On passive just makes you excited. It just does, and that's a good thing, right? It's always good to be in a happy mood, right? Of course.
Yep, like you said, on passive equal total freedom. And total freedom means abundance of time, abundance of tools, abundance of services, abundance of, you know, money, right?
Mm-hmm.
So all it is get that knowledge. I think it's amazing. So thanks everyone for listening in. We're looking forward to see you again, or actually, we don't get to see you. You get to see us next week. Lots of things are happening in Onpassive. Make sure you stay plugged in, log in to your ecosystem. Make sure everything is the way it's supposed to be. Just follow direction is what I'm trying to allude to. Thank you, everyone. God bless, and see you next week. Bye now.
Bye, everyone.